What can be done to raise awareness of the physical and mental health risks associated with drinking alcohol? How long did it take me to train for a half marathon? Ever wondered why I film on the hill, especially on a day like this? Have I ever considered taking the Kambo frog venom to enhance my mind, body and soul? Find out my answers to all these questions and more as I answer these questions and more. But first, I'm going to go back to the car because, quite frankly, it's pissing it down. Cue music. Okay, so my first ever Q&A, and it looks like it's going to be a car edition. Pretty much miserable bloody weather out there. England, Hampshire, my fair isle, I know you so well. For those of you who don't know, about a week ago, hang on, let me just take my coat off. Very distracting green jacket. For those of you who don't know, about a week ago, I put out a post on the community section of my YouTube page. For those of you who aren't aware of it, I think you have to get notifications from the channel. So if you're already subscribed, just hit the bell icon and then you can get those. Basically, I put out a post asking if people had any questions they wanted to ask me. I've been trying to find ways to put out more regular content, and I thought that would be a quicker and easier way for me to do it, and also a good way for me to answer specific questions from you guys. Not a huge amount of people saw the post, but those who did responded to it in kind. I've got a hell of a lot of questions to get through. I'll say right now, I'm not going to get through all of them in this one video. So if I don't answer your question in this video, don't worry about it. I will be getting to it in future videos. I've got at least 3 videos worth of questions to get through. So don't worry, I will get to your stuff soon. And also, if you can, drop a like on this video, because it really does help send a message to YouTube that people are interested in this stuff. Because of the topics that I'm covering, it's not the sort of thing that YouTube goes out of its way to promote or to put out to people. So I'm kind of up against it in that respect. So if you do like the channel, you want to support it, best way you can do it, drop a like on the video. And as always, make sure you go over to my Instagram page, Benjamin Lee Wright, and make sure you get that as well, because that's the best way to keep up with what I'm doing with the channel. Either that or the community tab. So something I've recently started doing, as well as posting witty stories on my Instagram. You don't want to look out on that. Look at that on IGTV stories. Might interest you to know that it's actually been about half hour since the last time I filmed. I've had every motherfucker on the entire hill just decide to sit round my car, just yapping, just chatting in the pissing rain. I hate people, I really do. If you yourself do have a question that you want answered, make sure you leave a comment down below. Make sure you ask the question that you want. Why you would ask a question that you didn't want, I have no idea. But if you have any questions about myself, if you have any questions about mental health, sobriety, fitness, anything like that, then please go ahead and ask. Obviously, I'm not an authority in anything. Nothing. Nout. Shuffle. But you guys seem to like the videos I do, and you seem to have a lot of questions. So, there you go. Long-winded. I guess the last thing I wanted to mention, that I'm still working on my intermittent fasting video. A lot of people seem to be looking forward to that one. I hope to have that one out in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, let's get on with some Q&As to keep you going. Don't judge me. I definitely made the right decision to film this in the car. It's absolutely heaving it down right now. Thought you were going to answer questions. And without further ado, questions. Okay, so my first question is by Nick Harkins. What do you think could be done to raise awareness of the physical and mental health risks of drinking alcohol? Despite the fact that it's a carcinogen, most people in Western countries believe it to be perfectly harmless. Now, that's a very good question, and there's a reason I put this one first. There are many questions that I'm going to get that could warrant a full video in itself, and I think this is one of those videos, because this is a very nuanced thing to get into, and this is the sort of thing that I'd like comments from you guys as well. So read the question again and have a little think about what you think. It's quite an odd one with alcohol, because as that old saying goes, alcohol is the only drug that you have to justify not taking. I think so many people really don't understand how addictive it is. I think there are a lot of people out there who do drink far too much and maybe don't even realise that they have a problem. I think they always assume with alcohol, because it's such a socially acceptable drug, it's deemed... I don't think people look at... I think everyone looks at an alcoholic as the complete down and out, or somebody who's lost everything. Whereas there's there's all sorts of different reasons. There's all sorts of different levels, shall we say, of being an alcoholic. I believe one of the definitions of alcoholism is essentially if it's affecting your life in any kind of negative way, then that's an alcoholic. Many people would judge somebody who, say, smokes marijuana, but they won't look at themselves and the fact that they're doing it. I've said this in previous videos before, but I think alcohol's one of them ones you don't really necessarily know what a hold of it's got on you until you try and give it up. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times you have Sober October and stuff like that, and you have all these people who are incredibly proud that they gave up for a month, but a lot of them do find it very, very difficult. Now, of course, a lot of that could just be because they're having fun and they miss having fun. A lot of people, I think, find it a lot more difficult than they think to go without it. I also think that it's kind of one of those, it's almost like cancer or AIDS or any of those horrendous diseases that people find themselves with, illnesses, where people don't really get aware of it until they're personally affected by it, whether they've actually caught it themselves or they know somebody who's got it. And I understand that to a certain point, because why would you involve yourself in something that doesn't affect you? But if anyone out there has truly been affected by alcoholism, you know it's no joke. I've experienced it a lot of it. I've had my own issues with alcohol, which I think I've gotten under control, but I also know a lot of other people, and that's probably one of my main reasons that I quit in the first place. This is one of those questions I think I'm going to have a really good think about and do a proper standalone video of. And if any of you got any responses to that, I'd be grateful for that as well, because this is an important thing. What can be done to raise awareness of the physical and mental health risks of drinking alcohol? Have a think about it, everybody. Pop your comments down below, and like I said, I think this is one of those ones this is gonna be a standalone video, I think. Next question by Dean Fletcher. There's quite a few questions within this question. Cheeky bastard. How long did it take to train for the half marathon? How come you're always on the hill? Apparently he's from the same part of England, Hampshire, that I am. How did lockdown affect your state of mind and or running/training? What is the single biggest factor in maintaining positivity in your opinion? First off, how long did it take to train for a half marathon? Well, technically speaking, it was 7 months, but that was going from literally doing nothing to running a half marathon. I wasn't really concentrating on the half marathon at first. I started off with a couch to 5k, completed that, found out I really enjoyed it, so then I started looking towards doing a 10k. Once I got to the 10k, I started looking at doing 10 miles. Then I got up to 13.2, is it? 13.1? I don't know, half marathon distance. I don't know if you're a runner yourself, but if you're already running at I think if you're already doing the 10k distance, I think you're probably looking at about a 10-week plan to get you up to the half marathon distance. There is actually a plan that I found on Runner's World, I think it was, and I'll leave a link for that in the description as well, so you can have a look at it. It's a really good plan, very solidly put together, very easy to follow. I think the main thing with any plan is obviously the plan, having something set in place, so you need to know what miles you're going to go out and do on every given day. There are definitely some days where you wake up and you just can't be bothered to do anything, but if it's on the routine and you know, okay, I've got to do 10 miles today, and you make it happen. Why am I always filming up on the hill? Basically what happened is I'd always considered doing a YouTube channel, but I didn't really know what to do. And this is now my main channel, but what used to be my main channel was my first channel, which is Free to Be Who I Be. It's still active. I still put videos out on it every now and then. Basically it's a music review channel, and I thought that would be a good way to start music reviews. I know a lot about music. I got a lot to say about music. But one thing that always pissed me off with a lot of the reviewers, first of all, they were really boring and they were always just sat up against a dull wall. And I just found I switched off after a while. So I figured, well, I enjoy walking, I enjoy being out in the country, so why not combine two things in one? So I can go out walking and I can film the videos while I'm doing it. And it just adds a bit more variety to, people seem to really like it. I've noticed a lot of people have found them really relaxing. I've actually found some of my videos have ended up on ASMR playlists because people just find it relaxing. There's a guy talking, you got the wonderful scenery. Not now, I mean, this is a car, a Ford at that. And also what I found was when I was out walking, getting the blood flow, I felt my energy levels were better. I found I could think better. I found I was able to verbalise, to communicate easier, which is quite obvious because I'm sat here now and it's terrible. And then basically after a while it kind of became my style. I've tried doing a few different things and people don't really seem to respond to it well. I think people kind of like me doing the stuff out on the hill, so that's why I do it. How did lockdown affect my state of mind and or running training? To be honest, I wasn't really that... Let me just change arms here. To be honest with you, I wasn't really that negatively affected by it. I'm kind of an introverted person anyway. Luckily, I was one of those people who was able to carry on working through it. So the work side of it was fine. I was able to still keep working through it. And luckily here, as you well know, in our fair Isle of Englandshire, at the beginning of the lockdown, we were still able to go out and work out. We were still able to go out once a day. So I was able to go out and get my runs in, and that really did there's me saying it, everything was fine. I guess maybe if I wasn't running at the time, maybe it would have been a different matter. But yeah, the running definitely did a huge amount to why is this prick parked up behind me now? The running definitely did a huge amount for my mental well-being. It really kept me on a straight and narrow and kept anxiety at bay. Has everyone just parked by me now? What is the single biggest factor in maintaining positivity? I think for me, it's a routine, I'd have to say, for me. I kind of alluded to it earlier on with the training for the half marathon. There are days when you don't want to do what you need to do, but when you've got something written down, you kind of you have it in your head that you're going to do it. Or as if you kind of, I find if I wake up and I don't know what I'm going to do, those are the days where I'm kind of the most lost. There are a lot of days where I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I feel shit, in fact. But if I've got it kind of written down on my routine, what I've got to get done that day, then I do it, and I pretty much always feel better for having done it. It always snaps me out of it, so it makes me feel better. Hope that answers your question. Next question is from James Martin. Hi mate. Hello. There are only so many hours in the day, and my question is, how do you make time for prioritising sleep, exercise, eating well, etc., as well as the many spiritual, personal, developmental practices that are helpful, such as reading, mindfulness, meditation, prayer, affirmations, visualizations, and so on, as well as work and hobbies? Do you have a tight daily routine, and if so, how did you whittle those things down into being doable in any given day? Keep up the great videos, James. That's. I mean, he wrote it. My situation might be different to a lot of people my age. I'm single and I don't have kids, so that gives me more time to be a self-centered asshole. I don't know if multitasking is the word, but utilising the time that you do have. I'm lucky that the job I have, I'm able to wear headphones. I'm able to listen to music or whatever as I'm working, because it doesn't really affect what I'm doing. So what I end up doing, when I'm listening to music, quite often I find that helps me conjure up ideas. And also another thing I do is listen to a huge amount of podcasts. I think it's a great way of taking in information and learning new techniques, and just inspiring you to do more things. There's tons of interviews I've listened to with David Goggins, Joe Rogan, of course, Rich Roll, he's another great one. I listen to a lot of the metal podcast guys like Rob Flynn and Jamie Juster. You'll be surprised what people have to say. It's always inspiring hearing people's stories and what they've gone through and how they combat certain situations and get through things. I love podcasts. They're absolutely invaluable in my opinion. Another great one is WTF with Mark Maron. He used to primarily interview comedians, but he's kind of gone more into he still does comedians, but he's done actors, writers, directors. He even had Barack Obama on one of his podcasts, and it's just a great way of being able to get in information and be inspired by other people while I'm still at work. That might not be the case for you, I don't know, but podcasts are a great one. I also listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff when I'm running. I listen to music sometimes, but yeah, primarily it's actually podcasts I listen to as well. I just find them very inspiring. There's a lot of great stuff out there. Jocko Willink, he's another great guy. There's another guy called Chad Wright. There's a lot of the sort of Navy SEAL guys who've been doing stuff now, and I think that's great. Jordan Peterson, I listen to a ton of his stuff. It's really interesting stuff. I also do have daily schedules. I work out 6 days a week. So I do 3 strength sessions, and then I also do 3 running sessions. I'll probably end up doing more running in the winter. I like running in the cold, so I'll probably up the mileage then. So that keeps me grounded. I like to do something every single day. Once a week I have a cheat day, because I do intermittent fasting every single day. So I do the 16/8 intermittent fasting. That helps me keep my weight and everything in check. Stops me overeating, so that gives me kind of a daily discipline, so to speak. I stretch every single day. Every single day I stretch, because if I don't, I notice the effects with it. If I haven't done it for a day or two, I get bad problems with my back and hips and all sorts. That's something I have to do. It's not even a choice. Throwing in a cheat day is a great way of boosting up the metabolism again, and it also gives you something to look forward to. So yeah, my recovery day is normally a Sunday, and that's when I just sort of eat what I want as well, and I don't really care about it. I keep trying to meditate, and I just find it really difficult. I just cannot stick with it. So yeah, getting inspired by other people and putting a routine together and sticking to it. You'll be surprised how quickly you can adapt to a routine. If you haven't got one in place already, you'll be amazed. Just stick with it for like a month or whatever, and before you know it, it'll just be a part of your life. So I hope that goes some way to answering the question. I don't know if I did a good job there or not. One thing I also forgot to add was it's probably best to do things that you actually enjoy, because you're far more likely to actually stick with it if you enjoy what you're doing. In my case, is running and doing all that sort of stuff. Could be something different for you. Okay, next question is from Kate. I'm really wanting to quit alcohol. I've been to an alcohol awareness with a view to cutting down. Didn't cut down. I do work out, but not as much as I would like. I've been inspired by your Couch to 5K videos. I just need to get more motivated. To be honest, at the moment, wine appeals to me more than exercise. Any tips you found useful to your life change? And again, this is one that might warrant a video of its own. For me, the biggest change in my life came when I completely got rid of alcohol altogether. I wasn't a bad drinker. I didn't lose anything because of it. I wasn't like a violent person or anything like that. If anything, a lot of people I know probably found it a little baffling that I did quit. But I found when I did drink, I drank a shitload, and I found it difficult to stop when I did. So unfortunately, I'm one of them people who I find it difficult to do things in moderation. So everything really started changing for me when I just decided I didn't want to do it anymore, and it made it easier to stick to other routines. I'm sure, like a lot of people watching this, you've always made commitments to yourself, or you've said you're going to do this or you're going to do that, and you start off all enthusiastic, and then after a week or two it just falls by the wayside. I was always the same. It was normally going out drinking and everything that kind of put a stop to those things. Since I quit alcohol, since I made the decision to just say that's it, I'm done with it completely, everything's kind of been easier really in just sticking to things. I don't have the excuse of a hangover. I've definitely found it easier to have more tunnel vision as well since I've got rid of it. I'm not really sure if this is answering your question. It's a difficult one when you want to cut down but you're not cutting down, and because you really, it depends whether, if you're still enjoying it and you're having a good time and it's not really affecting anything in a bad way, then maybe it's not an issue. But it sounds like you want to pack it in. One thing that I've actually gotten from a lot of people who are curious about giving up alcohol is it's always somebody's birthday, it's always an anniversary, it's always a bank holiday, it's always some public holiday going on, or Christmas, Easter. There's always some excuse to drink. And I think a lot of times people use those as excuses to drink. There's always going to be an excuse. So if you're either going to give up or you're not, I think. That might sound very harsh, but it's kind of true. There's always some reason to drink. There's always some reason to lull you back into it. Don't make that excuse, I guess. If you're going to quit and stick to it. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to think a bit more about this one. I'm not really sure I'm doing this one much justice. I think I'll have to do another video on this one at some point. I think I'll have to have another little think. Let me know what you thought of what I've said and what I've got wrong, or if I've misinterpreted what's going on. And yeah, I'll do my best to answer. Next question, Marco Tomas. Do you still go to parties and events where people drink? And if you do, how do you cope with those kinds of situations? Have you felt any temptations or pressure from other people? And I have to say that you look a lot slimmer than you did last year. Keep up the good work. Oh man. Oh, that's another barrier. Oh, I don't know how that one got in there. Again, I'm a pretty introverted person. I get drained by being around people a lot. But whenever I'm asked out, whether it be on a works do or going out with people, I go out fine. Quite honestly, no, I don't feel any pressure. And people don't really... Most people respect the fact that I don't drink. They respect the decision that I've made. There are some people who didn't, and they're not really in my life anymore. I think when you do find yourself around people who... When you've made a decision to do one thing and someone who you thought was a friend doesn't respect that and tries to get you to relapse, then yeah, for me that's... Nah, I wasn't interested, so those people aren't really around me anymore. That being said, the first year was probably the most difficult. I think I've said this before as well, but I think one of the main things when you're quitting alcohol, it's not just about you quitting alcohol. You have to let everybody else know that you're quitting alcohol. You have to establish with them that you don't drink anymore. Establishing it with yourself is one thing. Establishing it with others is something else. But yeah, I've been. Most people respect the fact that I don't drink, or at least they respect my decision not to drink. So yeah, I don't go out too often, but when I do, I go out fine. I have a laugh with everyone, and yeah, I don't really feel the temptation to drink at all. Really, I feel the temptation to go. Thinking back on it, I never really enjoyed being out anyway. It's like, if you've got to be drunk to be around a lot of people in the first place, then maybe you just shouldn't be around those people. Do you know what I mean? And now for the last question I'm going to answer in this video. I think this has been quite a long enough one as it is anyway. This is a good friend of mine, Mr. Ism22, a friend of mine I haven't seen in a while. Hope you're doing well, mate. He said, have you ever considered doing Kambo, which I believe is a frog venom? It's legal and non-psychedelic. It's great for the body, mind and soul. Very beneficial. You'll be purging a lot, but you're getting all that emotional and psychological crap. It has so many health benefits. Maybe make a vid before and after. You don't want to be filming when purging though, lols. And then he ends it with peace. Positive energy activates constant elevation. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ism22, if that is your real name. I had a little look into this one. I'd not actually heard about this one until you asked me the question, but I got to admit this one doesn't really appeal to me that much. Out of anything, like, I know this is non-psychedelic, but the one that I probably have had the most intrigue over is ayahuasca, which is highly psychedelic. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of the therapeutic effects thereof. Maybe I'll have a little bit more of a look into it. But yeah, this one doesn't really appeal to me too much. But yeah, ayahuasca, I think I'd definitely like to have a go at that one at some point. I don't know where I'd do it or when. And I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of wonders if it'd be a trigger for me as well. I mean, I've been sober for this long. You know, would that reactivate something in me? I don't know. But I think the therapeutic, psychological benefits of doing it are definitely something that intrigued me. I don't know. That'd be a video for you. Well, for me or for you, whatever. Thank you, Mr. Ism22. And I think I'm going to end it there. I've been going on for quite a while today. If you've already asked a question and I haven't answered it, as I said before, don't worry about it. I will get to it in a future video. I'm just going to try and put these out on a more regular basis now. So if you do have any questions that you want answering as well, make sure you leave a comment in this video. Maybe have a think about some of the questions that I have answered as well, and think, let me know what your opinions are there. And who knows, they may inspire a future video. But for now, is it actually stopped raining? I might even go out and film the second one now, Why not? Anyway, I'm heading off. I'll catch you later. Bye, 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 bye.